All right, so voluntary discharge. This is when a contract ends because of the intended actions of the parties involved in the contract. These are the things that they want to do in order to end the contract, okay? It's their intent. It's voluntary. This can come about through two different ways, okay? The first is performance, and the second is discharge by agreement. So let's take a look at performance first. Okay, performance is pretty straightforward. The purpose of the contract has been fulfilled. Okay, what we said we were going to do has actually occurred. Okay, satisfactory performance. That means that the law requires both parties to be satisfied with the outcome of both parties' actions to the contract. Okay, so we want people to walk away from the contract feeling satisfied about the outcomes, okay? Substantial performance. Now this is a little bit of a different take on this. Satisfactory performance means that we're satisfied. Substantial performance means that one party did the majority of the contract, but some minor pieces weren't completed. So that means that one party is not completely satisfied with the performance of the contract because there's still a couple little things that weren't done that we had agreed to. Okay, in these instances, what the court is going to say is we're going to uphold the contract, but those pieces that weren't completed, you are still responsible for either completing them or paying them the difference of the value of the pieces that weren't completed. Okay, so let's assume that I have a contractor come into my house and they are going to renovate my living room. Okay, they're going to tear out the drywall. They're going to redo the floors. They're going to put new lights in, the whole 9 yards with my living room. Okay, and they do the majority of it, but there's this one section of the living room that they kind of skipped over. The flooring didn't get completed in that one little section. They never painted the walls in that little section of the living room. Okay, so substantially, they have completed the living room. They've completed the contract, but not entirely. Okay, that one little section of the living room, they did not complete. Okay, so I am not completely satisfied with the performance of the contract. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to go to the court and I'm going to have to say I had this agreement with the contractor to do the whole living room. They didn't do this one section. I would like to pay them less than what I originally agreed to. Okay, or if I had already paid the contractor, I would say to the court, look, they did 90% of the work, but there's 10% that they didn't do, this one corner of the room. Okay, so I want 10% of the money that I paid them back. All right, that would be an example of substantial performance where the court is going to have to probably step in order to make sure that both parties are completely satisfied with what was agreed to in the contract. Okay, letter C here, tender of performance. Okay, what is tender? Okay, tender is an offer to do what you have agreed to do under a contract. Okay, that's basically saying that once you start to do what you said you were going to do, then you have performed the contract. Okay, it's pretty similar to satisfactory performance, but satisfactory performance focuses on both parties being happy with the outcome. Tender is just offering to do what you've agreed to do under the contract, whether or not the other party accepts it. Okay, so even if the other party isn't doing what they're supposed to, you should tender your offer. You should do what you agreed to, because that is going to be viewed in the eyes of the court as you holding up to your end of the bargain, so that when you do have a dispute over the contract, you're going to be able to go in and say, look, I did what I was supposed to do. I tendered my performance. I did what I was supposed to do under this contract. They are the ones that didn't hold up their end of the bargain, and that is why I am asking you to reward me damages, okay, to pay me my money back or to make them do something. However, we're going to fix this solution. We're going to look at remedies in a little bit, but I want you to recognize that tender is doing what you said you were going to do. Okay, so those are some concepts around performance. Once we've completed the performance of the contract, we've fulfilled what was supposed to be done, then the contract is discharged. Okay, it's over. Okay, the second one, discharge by agreement. This is when people can end a contract by mutual agreement. So let's say that I had a contract to do my living room, to renovate it. But before the contractor comes in, we come to a mutual agreement where we say, you know what, now's not the right time to do this. maybe I don't have the money to do it, maybe the contractor doesn't have the time to do it. If we agree that it's not the right time to do this, we can discharge the contract or discharge the agreement by coming to a mutual agreement, okay, agreeing on the same thing. Right, those are the two ways that we can voluntarily discharge a contract.